Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully because this idea may shake your mind. We all know good people, honest, loyal, helpful, and yet these are the same people who often stay stuck, unnoticed, unappreciated, and unrecognized. Why is it that the world sometimes moves ahead while good people remain where they are? Today, I want to share something that may not be comfortable to hear, but if you understand it, your entire life will shift. We live in a world where goodness is appreciated but often forgotten, where kindness is admired but rarely rewarded, where sincerity is respected but not always valued. And many of us begin to question ourselves, what is the point of being good if good people don't get anywhere? I want to tell you something. Being good doesn't automatically guarantee success. Goodness is a foundation, not a destination. You can be the kindest person in the world, but if you lack discipline, confidence, courage, boundaries, vision, and wisdom, you will find yourself trapped in good intentions but poor results. Good people often think that the universe will just favor them, that people will automatically notice their effort, that someday someone will suddenly lift them up. But life does not work that way. Goodness must be paired with strength. Kindness must be guarded by boundaries. Helpfulness must be balanced with self-respect. Humility must be combined with confidence. And spirituality must be supported by practicality. Being good does not mean being weak. Being pure does not mean being passive. Being kind does not mean letting others step on your dreams. Good people get stuck not because they are good, but because they forget to protect their goodness with wisdom. So today, let's understand something very important. Goodness alone won't take you far, but goodness powered by wisdom will take you anywhere. Many good people remain unnoticed and unappreciated, not because they lack goodness, sincerity, or effort, but because deep inside they lack the confidence to express that goodness with strength. You can have a heart full of wisdom, kindness, and compassion, but if that wisdom is hidden behind hesitation, the world will never experience it. This is not about arrogance, ego, or pride. This is about understanding that valuing yourself is also an act of goodness. Too many good people underestimate themselves. They believe that being humble means being invisible, that being kind means being quiet, that doing good means staying small. But humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking of yourself correctly, without exaggeration and without self-doubt. There are many people who have brilliant ideas, who have the ability to serve others, who have creativity, insight, and vision, but they never speak up. They never step forward because they feel they are not good enough. They wait for someone else to validate them. They wait for someone to say, yes, you are capable, go ahead. But the truth is, life does not move forward on the approval of others. Life moves forward on the courage we build inside ourselves. And courage is born when we start valuing who we are. Good people often fear that if they speak confidently, they might look selfish. If they express themselves strongly, people might not like them. They worry more about being acceptable than being impactful. They worry more about being nice than being effective. And they worry more about being liked than being respected. But confidence is not disrespect. Confidence is not ego, and confidence is not selfishness. Confidence is simply the clarity that you have something meaningful to offer. If your intention is pure, your confidence should be pure too. If your heart is clean, your voice should be strong. If your purpose is noble, your presence should be powerful. Good people tend to hide, while less capable but more confident people take the spotlight. The world then gets influenced, not by the most sincere voices, but by the most confident voices. It is not because sincerity is weak, it is because sincerity forgot to show its strength. There is a subtle fear inside many good people, the fear of failure, the fear of being judged, the fear of being misunderstood. They think, what will people say? What if they reject me? What if they criticize me? But the truth is, criticism is inevitable for everyone, whether they are good or bad, strong or weak, successful or struggling. We need to understand that criticism doesn't define us. How we respond to criticism defines us. Those who rise are not the ones who never fall, but the ones who don't allow fear to silence them. Good people often play small even when they are meant to play big. They choose comfort over challenge. They choose silence over expression. They choose hesitation over courage. And then they wonder why life doesn't move forward. But life responds to the strength of your presence. Life rewards those who dare to express who they are. Confidence is not shouting, confidence is clarity. Confidence is not aggression, confidence is certainty. Confidence is not showing off, confidence is showing up. Good people need to start showing up for themselves the same way they show up for others. They need to value their abilities, their experiences, and their talents. They need to understand that their goodness becomes effective only when it meets confidence. Even in spiritual traditions, goodness is paired with strength. In nature, softness exists with firmness. Water flows gently but can carve mountains. Breeze feels delicate but can move clouds. A seed looks small but holds the power of a forest. Goodness is powerful, but only when paired with belief. You may be a person who supports others, comforts others, uplifts others, inspires others, and gives hope to others. But have you learned to support yourself? Have you learned to uplift your own worth? Have you learned to trust your own abilities? Because until you do, you will remain a support system for others while neglecting your growth. And that is not what life intends for you. Life is not about domination, competition, or superiority. Life is about expression, contribution, and fulfillment. Confidence gives you the ability to express your goodness, contribute your gifts, and fulfill your potential. Without confidence, your gifts remain unopened within you. Without confidence, your light remains hidden. Good people need to learn that confidence is not optional, confidence is necessary. It is not a luxury, it is a responsibility. If you have something good to offer to the world, you owe it to yourself and to others to share it boldly. Stop questioning your worth. Stop shrinking your presence. Stop apologizing for being capable. Confidence is not something you need to earn. Confidence is something you need to allow. And the moment you believe in yourself, the world begins to believe in you too. Many good people lose opportunities not because they are incapable, but because they hesitate to step forward when life opens a door. There are moments when opportunities appear, when the universe quietly whispers, "This is your time," and instead of moving ahead with courage, many people step back, overthinking, doubting, and questioning their worth. Good people often wait for perfect conditions. They want everything to be aligned, certain, predictable, guaranteed before they make a move. But life never presents opportunities with certainty. Life presents opportunities with possibility. Those who grow are the ones that learn to step into possibility, even if the path is not fully visible. The fear of failure can be so strong that it paralyzes action. Good people think they're protecting themselves by staying safe, but in truth, they are limiting themselves. Every great achievement in history began with uncertainty. Every visionary stepped forward while their heart was racing. Every leader took action without being absolutely sure. The people who thrive are not the ones who never doubt. They are the ones who move forward even when doubt is present. Sometimes opportunities see home disguised as challenges. They look uncomfortable, unfamiliar, outside of our comfort zone. And the natural response is to avoid them. But comfort never leads to growth. Growth begins where comfort ends. This is the paradox. Good people want to do meaningful things, help others, create value, and be successful. Yet they want to do it all without stepping out of comfort. That's impossible. You cannot learn to swim without getting into the water. There are people who keep delaying action, telling themselves that they need more preparation, more education, more experience, more confidence. But preparation will never give you total certainty. Experience will never arrive before you begin. Confidence grows only after you take action. Life rewards movement, not hesitation. There are times when you see others grabbing opportunities and you think maybe they were lucky. Maybe things are easier for them. But luck is not something that falls into laps. Luck comes to those who position themselves for it. The difference between good people who stay stuck and good people who grow is not intelligence, not talent, not kindness. It is the willingness to take a step forward when others step back. Inside every good person, there is a quiet potential waiting to be released, waiting to express itself. But potential cannot reveal itself until it is put to test. You discover your strengths only when you allow yourself to face situations that require strength. You discover your creativity only when you face situations that require creative solutions. You discover your inner power only when you face moments that ask you to rise. Many good people avoid opportunities because they fear being judged. They worry, what will people think if I fail? But those same people forget that people also judge when you do nothing. People talk whether you succeed or fail. So if judgment is inevitable, why not choose the path that leads you toward growth instead of regret? In the long run, people do not remember your mistakes, they remember your courage. There is another reason good people avoid opportunities. They fear discomfort, they fear stepping into unfamiliar territory. But discomfort is not a sign of danger, discomfort is a sign of expansion. When a seed transforms into a tree, it pushes through soil, breaks its shell, stretches its roots. That process is uncomfortable. But without that struggle, the tree can never grow. Likewise, good people must learn to embrace discomfort as part of growth. Life gives chances, but not repeatedly. Sometimes an opportunity comes only once. It's almost as if life is testing whether you truly want what you say you want. Those who step forward receive the reward. Those who hesitate spend years wondering, what if I had tried? Regret is much heavier than failure. Failure teaches you, regret eats you. Opportunities are not always big and obvious. Sometimes they come disguised in small decisions, saying yes to a new responsibility, saying yes to a chance to speak, saying yes to something that scares you a little. Growth begins with small yes moments. And when you start saying yes more often, life starts saying yes to you. The world we live in rarely gives anything to those who wait passively. The world gives to those who act, those who move, those who take initiative. Good people must understand something. Taking a chance is not impulsive. It is responsible. It is responsible toward your potential, responsible toward your purpose, responsible toward the gifts you have been blessed with. The fear of failure is natural, but what matters is not whether fear exists, but whether fear controls you. Courage is not absence of fear. Courage is the decision to act in spite of fear. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel confident first. You just have to take one step. And when you take that step, confidence follows behind it. Good people need to realize that avoiding opportunities is not humility. It is self-sabotage. And life is too precious to sabotage your own potential. If you don't take the chance life offers, someone else will. And they may not do it as sincerely as you would have. So the next time life opens a door, don't sit and calculate every risk. Don't wait for perfect certainty. Don't ask whether you are completely ready. Just remember one truth. Opportunities don't ask whether you are ready. They make you ready. And if your heart is pure and your intention is good, then stepping forward is not risky. It is right, not good. People often struggle with setting boundaries because they are afraid of hurting others, disappointing others, or appearing rude or insensitive. They believe that if they say no, others will think they are selfish. And so they continue saying yes, even when their heart is exhausted, their mind is overloaded, and their time is stretched thin. They do it because they care, because they want to be supportive, because they want to maintain harmony. But what they don't realize is that by saying yes to everyone, they are saying no to themselves, and eventually their goodness becomes a burden instead of a blessing. Being good does not mean being available to everyone at all times. People who lack boundaries give their energy away so freely that they are left drained, tired, and emotionally empty. They don't speak up when something bothers them because they fear conflict. They don't protect their limits because they think protecting themselves is wrong. But true goodness is not about sacrificing your mental peace just to maintain external peace. It is impossible to be truly good to others when you are not good to yourself. There are people who constantly use the kindness of good people. They take, and take without ever giving back. They know that the good person won't say no. They know they will forgive every time. They know they will accept whatever is given. even when it's their own heart being stepped on. This is not because good people are weak, but because they believe endurance is the same as patience. Endurance is admirable, but when endurance slowly destroys your joy, that is not noble, it is neglectful. There are moments when someone crosses a line and a good person notices it, but stays silent. They let it slide once, twice, 10 times, and the more they allow it, the more others take advantage. People treat you based on what you accept. If you teach others that disrespect is okay, they will continue disrespecting you. If you teach others that ignoring your feelings is acceptable, they will continue doing so. Boundaries are not walls that separate you from people. They are guidelines that teach people how to treat you. Good people must understand something very important. Saying no does not diminish your goodness. Saying no does not erase your kindness. Saying no does not make you a bad person. Saying no simply means you value yourself enough not to be used, drained, or taken advantage of. Boundaries do not protect you from love, they protect you from misuse. There are many individuals who have such a soft heart that they allow others to walk all over it. They confuse being generous with being submissive. Generosity is beautiful, but generosity without boundaries leads to resentment. If a good person gives and gives until they can't anymore, eventually they grow tired, frustrated, bitter, and emotionally wounded. Not because they wanted something in return, but because they forgot to respect their own limits. Goodness without boundaries becomes harmful. Not harmful to others, but harmful to the giver. When someone constantly gives without restraint, they lose their sense of identity. They start feeling guilty for choosing themselves. They start apologizing for prioritizing their own needs. They start thinking that self-respect is selfishness. But it is not. Self-respect is the foundation of healthy goodness. Boundaries also protect your time. Good people often allow their time to be consumed by commitments that do not align with their values, priorities, or goals. They agree to tasks because they don't want to offend anyone. They put others first because they believe that is what kindness requires. But the truth is, time invested wrongly is time that will never return. Your time is your life. If you let everyone take it freely, you will never have time for your own growth, dreams, and responsibilities. Boundaries protect your emotional health. There are people who drain energy, people who complain, manipulate, guilt trip, and pressure others to serve them. Good people tolerate these patterns for years, thinking patience is virtue. But patience is not endurance of emotional abuse. Patience is understanding, not surrender. You cannot heal others at the cost of breaking yourself. You cannot save someone by drowning with them. Setting boundaries does not mean you stop being helpful. It means you help wisely. It means you know when you are giving from a place of strength instead of exhaustion. It means you choose where your energy goes so that your kindness remains pure instead of forced. If you keep pouring water from a glass without refilling it, eventually you will have nothing left to give. A boundary is not just a no. It is clarity. It is the statement I matter to. It is the realization that you deserve respect. It is the understanding that love must never cost you your inner peace. You can still be loving, caring, supportive, understanding, compassionate, and forgiving without allowing others to take advantage of you. Life becomes lighter when you learn to set boundaries. Relationships become healthier. You stop feeling drained. You stop feeling exploited. You stop feeling invisible. You remain good, but you become wise. Goodness paired with boundaries is powerful, balanced, and emotionally sustainable. Boundaries do not reduce your kindness. They protect it so that you can continue being kind without losing yourself. Many good people believe that if their intention is right, success will automatically follow. They think that having a pure heart, noble purpose, and sincere desire to help others will magically open all doors. But life is not designed this way. Good intentions are beautiful, valuable, and meaningful, but they are not enough. Intentions give direction, but strategy gives results. Intention is the spark, but strategy is the engine. Without strategy, even the purest desire remains just a dream, unfulfilled and unrealized. There are millions of people in the world who want to do good, who want to change lives, who want to create something meaningful. But wanting something is only the beginning. The world does not respond to what we desire. It responds to what we plan and execute. Many good people fail not because they lack capability, but because they lack clarity. They live with a heart full of dreams, but a mind without structure. They act with kindness, but without a plan. And when results don't show up, they feel discouraged and wonder why life is unfair. Goodness without strategy is like having a seed, but never planting it at the right depth, never watering it consistently, never giving it sunlight. Even the best seed cannot grow without the right process. Intention shows you the destination, but strategy builds the road. When people with pure intentions do not focus on planning, they end up exhausted, confused, and disappointed. It is not because their effort was wasted, but because their effort lacked direction. A good heart can attract people, but strategy is what sustains relationships, progress, and growth. You might want to help someone, but if you don't understand how to communicate effectively, your words may never reach their heart. You might want to start a project, but if you don't break it into steps, you might feel overwhelmed and quit. You might want to succeed financially to support your family, but if you don't learn how money works, your effort will never convert into stability. Strategy does not mean manipulation. Strategy is not trickery. Strategy is clarity. Strategy is wisdom. Strategy is understanding the right way to deliver goodness so it reaches its full potential. Even spiritual teachings are organized, structured, and strategic. Nature is strategic. The sun rises and sets at precise times. Trees release oxygen in balanced cycles. Everything meaningful operates through order, not chaos. Good people sometimes dislike planning because they feel it is too practical, too logical, too structured. They love spontaneity, they love sincerity, they love emotion. And while those qualities are beautiful, they need balance. The world does not run on emotion alone. Success requires prioritizing, organizing, and thinking ahead. You cannot just hope for results, you must prepare for them. You cannot just dream of growth, you must design it. So many people with great hearts work hard, but hard work without smart work leads to frustration. Energy without direction leads to exhaustion. Effort without planning leads nowhere. If you want to help others, you must understand the timing, method, and approach. If you want to build something great, you must break it into manageable steps. If you want to live meaningfully, you must learn the art of scheduling, prioritizing, and decision-making. Some good people think strategy means being cold or calculating, but that is not true. Strategy simply means you value your goals enough to structure your actions. When you plan, it shows that you honor your time, your dreams, and your abilities. It means you understand that your life has purpose, and you want to give that purpose the best chance to flourish. You don't plant seeds randomly, you plant them thoughtfully. You don't give your talent randomly, you use it wisely. There are people who help everyone but help no one effectively because their energy is scattered. There are people with brilliant ideas but with no execution because their thoughts have no framework. There are people who believe success will come eventually without realizing that eventually only happens for those who plan daily. And when they don't see progress, they blame circumstances, luck, fate, or timing. But the truth is, every result is built by strategy. Life responds to structure, not emotion. Emotion fuels you, but structure guides you. Emotion motivates you, but strategy organizes you. Emotion ignites you, but strategy sustains you. A person with good intentions but poor planning remains stuck. A person with normal intentions but strong planning moves ahead. You cannot control everything that happens around you, but you can control how you prepare, how you act, and how you structure your journey. When you learn strategy, you stop wasting time on what doesn't matter. You stop running in circles. You stop reacting emotionally. You stop trying everything randomly. You become focused. You become intentional. You become effective. And your goodness finally finds the platform it deserves. Strategy gives life to intention. It transforms what you want into what you achieve. It turns dreams into plans, plans into actions, and actions into outcomes. OD people must understand that strategy is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is not something that competes with goodness. it completes goodness. Because when goodness is paired with strategy, it becomes powerful enough to make a difference not just in your life, but in the lives of everyone you touch. Many good people spend their entire lives waiting to be appreciated, hoping someone will notice their sincerity and applaud their hard work. They think that if they stay kind, generous, loyal, and humble, people will naturally give them recognition. But waiting for appreciation becomes a trap. It becomes a form of emotional dependence where your value depends on someone else's validation. Appreciation feels amazing, but it is not something you should chase or depend on. Respect, on the other hand, is something you earn by standing strong in your values, decisions, and boundaries. Good people sometimes confuse being liked with being valued. They think that if everyone likes them, they are living right. But being liked is often temporary and shallow. Being valued is deep, stable, and lasting. Appreciation is easily forgotten, but respect stays. Appreciation is nice to hear, but respect is powerful to live with. You cannot build your self-worth on applause, because applause ends quickly. You must build it on character, because character remains, even when no one is watching. There are individuals who do incredible things, yet no one praises them. They help others, but no one helps them back. They sacrifice for others, but no one acknowledges their sacrifice. They show up for others, but others don't show up for them. They are there when people need them, but no one checks on them when they are silently breaking inside. And because they expect appreciation, they feel deeply hurt when it never comes. But the fault is not their goodness, it is that they expect recognition. People who do not understand the depth of their heart. Good people sometimes wonder, why do others get more appreciation than me? Why do people praise the loud, dramatic, and fake while ignoring the genuine? The answer is simple. Appreciation is often given to those who demand it, while respect is earned by those who behave with consistency and principle. Appreciation is loud, respect is silent. Appreciation is public, respect is personal. Appreciation is emotional, respect is intellectual. Good people are not here to collect praise, they are here to build impact. Impact does not require applause. When you start focusing on respect rather than appreciation, something important changes inside you. You stop living to please others. You stop bending your values to fit their moods. You stop saying yes just to avoid conflict. You stop acting small just to be accepted. You start valuing yourself. You start trusting your judgment. You start honoring your truth. You start doing what is right even when no one notices. Respect is earned through consistency, integrity, discipline, and strength. Respect comes from doing the right thing even when it costs you something. Respect comes when you choose principle over ego, growth over comfort, truth over convenience. Good people must understand that being soft in heart does not mean being weak in mind. When your kindness is paired with inner strength, you earn respect without ever demanding it. There are times when good people work silently, expecting that one day people will finally appreciate them. They avoid confrontation, hoping that others will notice their effort. They tolerate disrespect because they believe time will teach others their value. But silence is not always wise. Silence is only wise when it is chosen consciously, not when it is forced by fear. If you wait for appreciation, you give others power over your emotional state. Your happiness becomes dependent. Your confidence becomes fragile. Your mood becomes controlled by how much praise you receive. But when you stop expecting appreciation and start focusing on earning respect, you take back control over your emotional strength. You become stable, independent, grounded, and peaceful. Respect grows when you set boundaries. Respect grows when you make decisions. Respect grows when you take responsibility. Respect grows when you express your truth calmly but firmly. Respect grows when you live your values, not for attention but for authenticity. You don't need thousands to clap for you. You only need your heart to say, I did the right thing. Good people often forget one simple truth. Appreciation makes you feel good temporarily, but respect transforms your identity permanently. Appreciation comes and goes, but respect builds your reputation. Appreciation fills moments. but respect shapes character. Appreciation can be faked, but respect must be earned. When you do something kind, don't do it thinking someone will thank you. Do it because it aligns with who you are. When you stand up for what is right, don't do it thinking someone will praise you. Do it because you know it matters. When you help others, don't do it seeking validation. Do it because compassion is your nature. When you stay honest, disciplined, and sincere, don't expect applause. Expect growth. Those who chase appreciation remain emotionally fragile. Those who earn respect become emotionally powerful. Good people must shift from wanting to be noticed to choosing to be respected. The world may not clap for you today, but it will take your existence seriously tomorrow. That is far more valuable than claps, compliments, or praises. Your goal is not to shine in their eyes. Your goal is to shine in your own heart. Appreciation comes from others. Respect biggie. NS within. And when you respect yourself deeply, the world slowly begins to respect you too. Good people often misunderstand the difference between assertiveness and aggression. They believe that if they speak up, if they express themselves clearly, if they hold firm to their decisions, they might hurt someone, offend someone, or create tension. Because of that fear, they stay silent even when silence harms them. They tolerate disrespect because they don't want conflict. They sacrifice their own emotions because they don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. But silence is not kindness. Silence is not peace. Silence is not balance. Silence is submission. Assertiveness is not aggression. Aggression is about attacking others, while assertiveness is about protecting yourself. Aggression destroys relationships. Assertiveness protects them. Aggression comes from ego. Assertiveness comes from clarity. Good people must learn that being polite and being passive are not the same thing. You can be gentle and still firm. You can be humble and still strong. You can be kind and still clear about what you will and will not accept. There are many individuals who take advantage of good people simply because they know those good people will never speak up. They know that after being hurt, they will remain quiet. They know that after being insulted, they will still smile. They know that after being ignored, they will still show up. They know that after being taken for granted, they will still keep giving. This creates a cycle where good people feel invisible, unappreciated, and unloved. Not because they are unworthy, but because they lack assertiveness. When someone speaks assertively, they communicate their boundaries, their needs, and their limits in a way that is calm yet confident. Assertiveness does not create war. It creates clarity. It is an expression that says, I respect you, but I also respect myself. It is a voice that says, I want harmony, but not at the expense of my dignity. Assertiveness is emotional maturity. It gives you strength without aggression, clarity without confrontation, and peace without self-suppression. There are times when good people feel guilty for wanting space, rest, respect, or recognition. They think, if I ask for respect, I am demanding. If I ask for clarity, I am difficult. If I ask for fairness, I am rude. But none of that is true. Asking for respect is not demanding, it's natural. Asking for clarity is not difficult, it's responsible. Asking for fairness is not rude, it's logical. Good people need to realize that respecting themselves is not selfish, it is emotional hygiene. Imagine a tree that bends when the wind blows. Bending is not weakness. But if the tree bends so much that it breaks, that breaking is not noble, it is tragic. Good people bend too much sometimes. They bend until they break. They bend until their self-worth disappears. They bend until their voice becomes silent. But a good person is not meant to break. They are meant to stand strong, grounded, and rooted. Assertiveness also protects the authenticity of relationships. When you are aggressive, people step back out of fear, not respect. When you are passive, people step over you without even realizing. But when you are assertive, people step forward with understanding because you have communicated with clarity. Assertiveness is the foundation of healthy relationships, whether personal or professional. It prevents misunderstandings, emotional exhaustion, and hidden resentment. Good people often keep everything inside: their frustration, their hurt, their emotions, their discomfort. They believe that patience means silence, but patience means understanding, not suppression. Silence becomes dangerous when it hides truth. Silence becomes painful when it hides your needs. Silence becomes damaging when it protects others but destroys you. There is wisdom in expressing yourself calmly rather than carrying the burden alone. Speaking assertively also helps you grow internally. When you express your truth, you build self-esteem. When you communicate with clarity, you reinforce self-respect. When you stand your ground, you strengthen your identity. When you say, "This is not acceptable," you honor your worth. Good people must not mistake softness for weakness. Softness is beautiful, but only when it is supported by inner strength. There are people who think that to be respected, they must become aggressive. But aggression is not power. Aggression is insecurity wearing a mask. Assertiveness, on the other hand, is real power. It allows you to be kind without being used, helpful without being drained, loyal without being exploited, and humble without losing yourself. Assertiveness is the art of expressing without exploding, protecting without attacking, and leading without forcing. Good people must understand that assertiveness does not change their goodness, it protects it. It preserves their emotional energy. It guards their mental well-being. It allows them to contribute without being consumed. It keeps their compassion pure, not pressured. Assertiveness is the difference between being respected and being ignored, between being valued and being used, between having a voice and having silence. When you become assertive, others begin to treat you differently. They take your words seriously. They consider your feelings. They respect your time. They honor your boundaries. They listen when you speak, not because you became aggressive, but because you learned how to speak with wisdom, balance, and strength. And that is how good people transform. Not by changing their heart, but by sharpening their community. Cat Ion. When we talk about why good people don't get anywhere, one of the biggest truths is that they spend so much time thinking, but very little time doing. They dream, they plan, they imagine, they visualize, but they rarely act. They believe that intentions alone will move mountains, but intentions without action are like seeds without soil. The world remembers those who executed, not those who merely intended. A good heart is a priceless quality, but a good heart without initiative becomes a silent participant in life rather than a contributor. There are thousands of ideas floating in people's minds every day, but an idea only becomes powerful when someone chooses to get up and execute it, despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, despite not knowing whether they will succeed or fail. Many good people tell themselves, "I will do it when the time is right." But the truth is, the time never becomes perfect. There are always obstacles, distractions, doubts, and delays. If people continue to wait for ideal conditions, they will spend their entire life waiting. Successful individuals don't wait for things to be perfect. They start where they are with what they have. They don't wait for confidence to magically appear. They build confidence through disciplined action. Good people, however, often fall into the trap of perfectionism. They want everything aligned, organized, flawless, planned, smooth, and predictable before they even start. Perfectionism is just fear in disguise, pretending to be logic. The world rewards those who move forward imperfectly rather than those who sit still waiting to make perfect moves. Inactivity becomes a silent prison. The comfort of planning feels safe, but it is not productive. Good people often believe that thinking deeply, analyzing deeply, and reflecting deeply is equivalent to progress. But the truth is, reflection becomes valuable only when followed by execution. Otherwise, it becomes a cycle of fear-based avoidance. Someone can think for years, but one moment of implementation creates real change. A dream written on paper is only a sentence until someone turns it into effort. The saddest part is that many good people underestimate themselves. They think they are not ready, not deserving, not capable, or not qualified. But greatness does not come from being 100% ready. It comes from daring to act even at 40% readiness. Life favors courage over hesitation. Good people often fear failure. They think acting might lead to mistakes, rejection, criticism, or embarrassment. They believe staying silent and safe protects their dignity. But failure is not a sign that one is finished. Failure is a sign that one is trying. Failure is progress wearing an uncomfortable mask. Every great person we admire has stories of failure, rejection, and setbacks. The difference is that they learned, adapted, and acted again. Good people sometimes treat failure like a final judgment rather than a temporary lesson. They forget that success usually arrives after a long series of failures. The bigger tragedy is not failing, the bigger tragedy is not even trying. Sometimes, good people worry so much about what others will think. They hold back ideas, hold back opinions, hold back efforts, and hold back dreams just because they fear criticism. They worry more about looking foolish in public than about remaining incomplete in private, but the world will always have opinions. No one has ever achieved anything meaningful without facing disbelief, mockery, or negativity. Good people need to realize that the same people who criticize them today may applaud them tomorrow. But applause is never earned by silence. Action is the bridge between what we are and what we can become. Taking action is not about making huge leaps overnight. It is about taking consistent small steps. Water dripping slowly can cut marble. Wind blowing constantly can shape the land. Small efforts compound into huge transformations. Good people often underestimate the power of gradual consistency. They wait for big opportunities, forgetting that big opportunities are born from small decisions repeated daily. When someone acts with honesty, diligence, and courage every day, life eventually opens doors for them that they never imagined. Good people need to understand that being kind is not enough. Goodness becomes impactful only when combined with initiative. A person who sees someone suffering yet does nothing is not noble. A person who steps forward to help, even imperfectly, becomes truly noble. Life is not changed by thoughts alone. Life is changed by actions inspired by thoughts. A man may desire peace, but peace will never come if he does not speak, step, stand, and work for it. A person may love his family, but that love must be expressed through efforts, sacrifices, and consistent presence. Action creates clarity. Action builds skill. Action strengthens character. Action opens opportunity. Action turns faith into reality. If a person wants respect, they must act respectfully. If they want success, they must act diligently. If they want growth, they must act courageously. The journey of life does not reward only intentions. It rewards those who convert intentions into motion. Every seed planted has a chance to grow, but a seed locked in a box remains forever potential, never becoming reality. Good people have seeds of greatness within them, but those seeds need to be planted through consistent effort. So to every person who has dreams in their heart, goodness in their nature, vision in their mind, and kindness in their soul, the message is simple: act. Even if you feel afraid, act. Even if you feel uncertain, act. Even if you feel imperfect, act. Life does not become meaningful when you plan the perfect life. Life becomes meaningful when you take imperfect steps with perfect sincerity. Action does not guarantee immediate success, but inaction guarantees lasting regret. Good people must learn the courage of execution, because only executed dreams have the power to shape destinies. There comes a point in every good person's life when they realize that they are not moving forward. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack sincerity, not because they lack the intelligence to succeed, but because they lack resilience. They take one step forward, and the moment they face a challenge, they step back. They start something meaningful, but the moment they encounter obstacles, they stop. They attempt to chase a dream, but as soon as they face criticism or rejection, they shrink and abandon their vision. What they fail to understand is that every goal that matters will test your patience, will test your spirit, will challenge your beliefs, and will demand inner strength. Life does not give growth to those who quit easily. Life opens doors only for those who keep walking, even when the winds are against them. Good people often assume that the path of goodness should be easy. They think that because their intentions are pure, the road should be smooth. But purity of intention does not eliminate the reality of effort. Even the most fertile land needs strong roots to hold the plant upright. A heart filled with kindness needs resilience to sustain its goodness in the storms of life. Many times, a good-hearted person breaks not because they are wrong, but because they are not mentally prepared for resistance. They give too much of themselves to others, forgetting to recharge their inner battery. Eventually, when they cannot carry the weight of expectations, they collapse emotionally. They think life is unfair to them, but the truth is they never learn the art of emotional endurance. Resilience is not about never feeling tired. It is about choosing to keep going even when you are tired. It is not about never feeling disappointed. It is about rising again, even when disappointment hits your spirit. A good person often expects instant results because they underestimate the journey. But the journey is where character is built. The journey is where patience grows. The journey is where wisdom is earned. The world does not reward those who start something, it rewards those who finish what they start. Many good people start everything with enthusiasm but finish nothing with commitment. It is not their goodness that stops them, it is their lack of resilience. When the journey gets tough, some people begin to doubt themselves. They think maybe they don't deserve success. Maybe they are not capable. Maybe they are not meant for something big. But that is a lie whispered by fear. Fear always tries to steal what courage has begun. Resilience means refusing to surrender to that voice. It means believing in your purpose even when your progress is slow. The tallest trees in the forest face the strongest winds. The brightest stars shine only after the deepest darkness. Strength is not built in comfort, it is built in adversity. And adversity is not an enemy, it is a teacher. It teaches patience, clarity, humility, maturity, and above all, resilience. Good people often break emotionally because they do not know how to handle setbacks. They think setbacks are signs that they should stop trying. But the truth is that setbacks are signs that you are on the right path. If the path were meaningless, no obstacles would arise. The presence of resistance is evidence that you are moving towards something valuable. Instead of giving up, resilience means deciding that no matter how many times you fall, you will rise one more time. The number of times you fall does not define you, the number of times you rise does. Another reason good people struggle is because they take things personally. When someone criticizes them, they feel attacked. When someone rejects them, they feel crushed. When someone misunderstands them, they feel broken. But resilience teaches you that not everyone will understand you, appreciate you, or support you. And that is okay. You do not need universal approval to follow your purpose. You need inner strength. Some people will doubt you simply because they doubt themselves. Some will discourage you because they never had the courage to follow their own path. Resilience means learning to walk even when encouragement is missing. There will be days when you question your decisions, days when your efforts feel invisible, days when progress feels painfully slow, days when you feel like quitting everything. But resilience means reminding yourself why you started, reminding yourself who you want to become, reminding yourself what legacy you want to leave. You do not build a meaningful life by doing things only when it feels comfortable. You build a meaningful life by showing up even when comfort disappears. Resilience also means learning to take care of yourself emotionally. A good person pours into others so much that they forget to pour into themselves. They help everyone, support everyone, encourage everyone, but they rarely give themselves the same compassion. A dehydrated heart cannot water others. Resilience means nurturing yourself through rest, reflection, prayer, meditation, gratitude, and self-awareness. It means understanding that your strength is not infinite, it must be renewed. When a good person becomes resilient, something magical happens. Their goodness becomes powerful, their sincerity becomes unstoppable, their compassion becomes impactful, their efforts become transformative. They no longer get crushed by setbacks, they learn from them. They no longer fear criticism, they grow wiser through it. They no longer run away from challenges, they face them with maturity. A resilient heart is not only good, it becomes courageous, stable, impactful, and unforgettable.